Hey y'all, and welcome to the video, and thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for joining me today to see my first impressions eye look on the new Natasha Denona Glam palette. I did receive this 2 weeks ago and I've been dying to play with it, but after my last eyeshadow swatch videos I kind of wrecked my eyes, so they were very dry. I tried 2 different times to do eyeshadow and it was so patchy. Not with this palette, just like with eyeshadow in general that I own, like over here, just whatever. Anyways, it was so patchy and so disgusting because my eyes were so dry. Like my lids were fine, it was like up here and in my like crease that was just really bad. So I was like, I cannot review a palette and play with eyeshadow and try to do any kind of look when my eyes are in this type of situation. So I had to wait. Here we are 2 weeks later. My eyelids are finally like back to normal because you're not supposed to put like moisturizer on your eyes because it puffs them up. So that's why I've been waiting for them to clear up. And I think it was my last video that I did. I actually just used some shadow sticks and a steely glitter to do my eyes, and it was actually after that my eyelids got a lot better. So maybe there was like something moisturizing in my shadow stick, I don't know, but my lids like cleared up right after I used it. So I don't know about that, but it worked. But anyways, we're going to go over this palette. This does retail for $65, and I did say, well, I'm I'm filming this part like last, but I did say that this palette is worth every single penny. Not a penny more, not a penny less. You guys ever watch Mad TV, the Lorraine? All of those are hilarious where she's just like, oh. Sorry. Anyways, I'm going to show you swatches, and then I'm going to show you my eye look. I'm actually going to go over with you guys how I'm doing my eye look and whatnot just in real time because it's a first impressions video. But I just have to say, this palette, you guys, is beautiful. It's honestly so beautiful. It's my new favorite palette. Honestly, it is. It's my new favorite palette. I love it that much. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get into the swatches. I'm just going to swatch them, and then at the end of the video I'll explain to you like my final thoughts. But I have to say that the swatches, the matte shades were kind of not that great, but they performed perfect on the eye. So just remember that because you're going to see the swatches and then the eye look. So I don't remember if I mentioned it during the eye look, but it's good. It's Gucci. It's great. Okay, so anyways, if you guys are enjoying these types of videos from me, the eyeshadow look reviews instead of my normal unboxings and spoiler videos, then give this video a big thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe. It would mean so much to me, especially because I've noticed in my analytics that over half of my viewers are not even subscribed. So if you're already a viewer, if you would, do me the honor and hit the subscribe button. It would melt my heart. And let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so hopefully this goes well because I'm doing this before the intro, but I guess you'll know by the title of the video and the intro if this palette is good or not. So I'm going to start out by using the Zoeva Eyeshadow Fix Matte Long Wear Eyeshadow Primer. I really enjoy this. I haven't had any issues, and I feel like applying shadow has worked out so much better using this. So I know how eyeshadow applies with this. So we'll see if this palette is good. So the way I'm going to treat this palette is exactly how Natasha Denona intends on it being used. So we're going to use transition shade for transition, crease for crease, lash line, blend, and smoke, and then pick some shimmers for the lid. So first we're going to go with the transition shade. I'm using the Morphe X Jaclyn Hill JH30 brush, and I'm going to apply the transition shade to my transition. I'm going to zoom you in for the rest of this eye look so you can just see what I'm doing. So basically what I'm doing with this shade is I am going to set my eye primer, and I will be focusing on this eye so it doesn't take up like so much time. I do have to say that this shade swatched so much lighter than it looks on the eye. Like this is with the shade, this is without it, and it definitely looked a lot more flesh toned, but when you apply it to the eye it's a little bit darker, but it's still so pretty that I could literally just wear this shade on its own. Taking the same brush, I'm going to take this crease shade right here and just work it into my crease. Adding just a little bit more because it always patches up pretty much any shadow that I do in my crease where my hooded eye likes to close up, if does that make sense, like that like hooded eye crease area. It always is patchy pretty much for any shadow that I use, so that's not, you know, the brand's fault, that's my own personal problem. If you have hooded eyes, I think you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, I can't get it to stick in that part right here, but again, I always have this problem. But it's not like anybody's gonna actually see it when I am sitting here having a conversation, because the way I blink, I would have to be like this for you to be able to see it, which day-to-day life, you don't see it, so it's fine. Now with the Morphe X Jaclyn Hill JH35 brush, I'm going to take the smoke shade right here, and I'm going to work that on my outer corner. I barely applied anything to my brush because it is a darker shade and I don't want to mess it up. And then I definitely double tapped to make sure I didn't have too much on my brush. And even barely applying anything to my brush, this is a very, very pigmented shadow for sure. And I'm just blending. I still haven't applied any more shadow to the brush. I am going to apply just a little bit more because I just want to completely cover the outer corner completely. Okay, if my lighting changed at all, that's because my dog tried to kill me because she lay down and knocked over my lighting. So it's a little bit closer now than it was a second ago. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was making sure I brought this shade over more so it'll look really good when I put a crease shade, not a crease shade, a metallic on it. Okay, good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect because again I'm going to be putting a metallic over it. Okay, so taking the GH34, I guess we're going to use a lot of Jaclyn brushes today. I'm going to take this shade here, the blend shade, and I'm just going to run that over the top of my shadow. Does that make sense? I'm just going to do that and run it at the very, very top like this. I'm so good at explaining stuff, but you guys can see I'm just running it across the top. Gonna add a little bit more to my brush. I like the way that looks. That looks really good. Now I do want to take this transition shade here and apply it to my lower lash line. I'm just using an angled flat brush, if it focuses. That's a focus. Okay. Okay, so it didn't do much for color, so I'm going to take the crease shade right here and do it for my lower lash line. And then taking the shade Smoke, I want to do the outer lower lash line. And connect it to what I did on top. And then just blend this line out. Okay, so I didn't blend the line out like it does with all my other shadows. This one's just like really intense. Whoops. I'm going to try and fix it a little bit with the Morphe M32. I'm going to take that blend shade and try and blend. I mean, that looks better. Don't do what I did. Now for my outer lid, I want to take the bottom shade outer lid and apply it to my outer lid. And I'm just going to use my finger. That's actually a really beautiful color. I'm actually going to put it on my finger, and then before I actually apply it, I'm going to take a little bit of the ColourPop Pretty Fresh and just kind of wet my finger a little bit. I could use a brush, but I don't feel like it. I'd rather use my finger. That totally intensified it so much more. Great, love that. Next to that shade on the bottom, I'm going to do the center eyelid, and I'm just going to apply that to the rest of my lid. And then where it meets up in the middle, I'm going to kind of just do this squiggly little thing so I can blend the two. Like that. Okay, it didn't really blend the two, it just kind of overpowered that shade. So I'm going to take the outer lid shade again and just kind of dab.
Okay.
And then taking a finger that doesn't have any shadow on it and dab that center lid shade with it. If any of this is making sense. Okay. Better. Better, 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 better. Okay, so this is the final look. I have to say that I do really like it, and I experienced zero fallout. Zero fallout. Like, look at that. Do you see a speck of anything under my eye? No. Not at all. So I have to say that this is really good, especially when it comes to fallout. Fallout. Okay, anyways, I'm going to do my lashes and my eyeliner and the rest of my face, and I will give you my final thoughts as well as my intro because, you know, yeah. Wow, I look like a close-ups are not good. Okay, so now that you've seen me do the eyeshadow look, and this is my completed look here, let me zoom you in so you can see. Okay, so I decided to go against eyeliner. Since this look is already pretty dark, I decided just to go natural, throw some lashes on, and I did do some liner in my waterline and was going to go for a white to brighten it up, but my ColourPop white gel liner was actually really dry, so I just went with their nude liner, and it didn't brighten it up as much as I would like it to, but it still goes with the look very, very well. But I do have to say that this palette is pretty excellent. I think it's worth every penny of the $65. Do I think that this is cheaper than $65? Like, could this ever go on sale? I doubt it, but also I don't think it should be less than $65. It really is something special. It's definitely a different matte formula than anything I've ever tried before. I would say don't buy this if you're a beginner when it comes to shadow. The very first palette I ever tried from them was the other $65 palette, the, what is it called? The Sunset or Sunrise? Let me get it. Hold on. This is the first bigger palette from Natasha Denona I have ever tried, and I have to say that I messed up royally on this palette the first time I ever tried it because the matte formulas are just so different from any other matte that I've ever tried, and it can really get away from you really, really fast. So you have to barely put anything on your brush and really build that color up so you don't accidentally let the colors get away from you. But if you're someone who's really, really good at eyeshadow, you've been doing it for years, you're gonna touch this palette and be like, hot darn, this is really good. Just know, since I am a beginner, definitely take it slow if you do buy this. Take it slow, take your time, because these colors will definitely get away from you. But I have to say, it's a very good palette. Even though they swatched kind of like crazy weird, I didn't use the Lash Line shade, which swatched like the worst. But we all know swatches really don't even matter. I just do it because I like to see all the colors together. But the other ones really did blend well on the eye, so very good there. And I have to say that these metallics in this palette are the most beautiful metallics ever. They're so good. And even when I swatched them, I just had to go one time and they were just like, hello, we're here to party. So I really like this palette. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you like the eye look. If you're interested in buying this palette, I will have a link below. I'm pretty sure it'll be an affiliate link through Magic Link, so I can make a commission, you know, just a little tipsy if you're into that. But I do have to say, I really, really like this palette. It's worth every penny. I honestly wouldn't even consider paying less for this palette if it was. I think it's phenomenal. I really like it, and I think this is going to be one of my favorite go-to palettes now, and I'm excited to keep playing with it and use every single shade. And yeah, I really like the palette. I really do. And you guys know, if I'm like over here geeking about a palette, that it must be good, okay? I really like it. It's a good palette. Anyways, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a big thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe. It would mean so much to me, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!